Welcome back to Book Club Preview. I'm Michael, and today we're looking at The Graveyard Book, Chapter 7. This chapter is so long, but it's so good. And let me just hit some highlight points for us. There's a lot going on here, so I'm going to try and go as fast as I can. Feel free to speed this up on YouTube if you need to. First of all, Silas is gone. Miss Lupesco's gone. There's supposed to be a guardian watching Silas or watching Bod, but they're gone. And everyone's a little bit worried about Silas and worried about Bod, but they're gone. And Bod doesn't know what to do. He's just staying safe in the graveyard. Then Scarlett comes around. We remember Scarlett Perkins from, I think, chapter 2 in the book, where now she's 15 years old. Bod is 14. Scarlett goes into the graveyard. She misses her bus and ends up on the wrong bus, accidentally ends up in the graveyard. She kind of remembers it and it feels weird. And then she meets this guy named Mr. Frost. Mr. Frost asks her to help him do like some chalk rubbing on a grave. It starts to rain. He gives her a ride home. He seems very nice. And he even tries to keep her safe. Mr. Frost takes her home. And Scarlett's so worried her mom's going to be so angry. But Mr. Frost is like, oh, I'm so sorry to bring your daughter in. She's really smart and clever. Please don't be angry. Please forgive me. Please forgive her. And even though Scarlett's mom is usually bossy and cranky, she's like, oh, no, that's no problem. Oh, I'm so sorry. My daughter was such trouble. You charming man, please come in, have tea. And Scarlett's like, what? Who is this lady? Where's my mom? But it ends up where her name is Nuna, I believe. Nuna even invites Mr. Frost over for dinner on Saturday. Mr. Frost leaves, and Scarlett goes to bed. While Scarlett's in bed, she dreams about being in the graveyard, but the dream feels more real, and she sees a boy there. And, I should have mentioned, while Mr. Frost is talking to Scarlett's mom, he mentions about the graveyard. And Scarlett's mom drops her teacup, and she talks about how Scarlett used to go in the graveyard and used to have an imaginary friend. So, Scarlett's in the graveyard, she sees a boy. And the boy turns and says, I didn't see you there. Are you dream walking? And she realizes it's Bod, and Bod realizes it's Scarlett. And they become friends again. And then Scarlett wakes up. Now, the next morning, Bod starts to ask for advice. He starts to ask advice from his dad about girls, about Liza Hemstock. And then he goes and asks a poet about if he should go see Scarlett. And the poet says, yes, young master, you must chase love. You must go to her. And Bod's like, I don't know about if it's love, but okay, I'll follow your advice. So he goes to where Scarlett is, and he's still faded. But when Scarlett looks at him, she can see him. And she says, it's you, Bod. And Bod's like, you can see me? She's like, I couldn't, but now I can. Are you really the boy 5 years ago? And he's like, yeah, it's me. She's like, you're real. And he's like, yeah, I'm real. And she's like, can I hug you? It's like, if you want to hug me. So she goes over and just squeezes him and gives him a bear. And he's like, oh, you're kind of hurting me. And he's kind of laughing. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. She's like, I just didn't know if you were real. It's like, yeah, I am. And so then they're friends again. And after that, it switches over to another scene of Silas, Miss Lupesco, this other Egyptian guy, and this fire demon. I don't know if demon is the right word. Spirit, maybe fire spirit might be a better word. The four of them are in this place called the Dragon's Den. The fire spirit got caught in a trap of mirrors and was like teleported away into some unknown realm or something. He's gone. So there's just these three left. And the Egyptian guy is like holding a pig. And he's like, this is my lucky pig. I will keep this pig. Miss Lupescu doesn't understand. But these three people or creatures or whatever they are. They fight something else. We don't know what it is, but there's something living deep in the dragon's den that they're fighting and killing. And that's kind of the end of that little scene. So next goes back to Bod and Scarlett, maybe next few days later. And Bod is just telling Scarlett, like, man, I have to live in this graveyard. My parents were killed when I was little. People are still trying to kill me. I don't know, but people in this graveyard are protecting me, like Silas and Miss Lepesco, and my parents are like ghost people. And he's just telling her everything. And she's like, well, why are they keeping you here? And she's like, well, why are they keeping you here? And he says, if I go out, I might get revenge. So they're worried that I'll try to find the person that killed my family and get revenge on him. And Scarlett's like, you're kidding, right? Like you're not gonna go take a gun to some guy and kill him for revenge. And he's like, no, I'm not joking. I'll find the guy that killed my family. And Scarlett's like, whoa, that's a little weird. But then she gets motivated to try and learn more. She also gets upset with Spot a little bit, and so she runs off to go see Mr. Frost, who's been helping her out, giving her rides to school and to the graveyard. So they're eating chips, which are in England like French fries, and Scarlett says, "Hey, how can I find out about a murder, like a local murder?" And Mr. Frost's like, "Ooh, that's so gruesome. Why would you want to know about that?" He says, well, I think something happened here and I want to find out about it for my friend. And so he says, well, okay, I think you want to go to the library and check out the library. So he takes her to the library and she starts to do some research. And she finds a little newspaper article 13 years ago about a family of four. Three? No, four. Okay. Mom, dad, a girl, and another child. Maybe it was a family of three. But whatever it is, Bod wasn't mentioned. So if it was a family of four or a family of three, it should have been a family of four or a family of five. Okay? But the baby was missing. And so Scarlett learns that the house that the murder took place is the exact house that Mr. Frost is living in. Whoa. So she calls Mr. Frost later on and says, Mr. Frost, that murder I was talking about, it happened in your house. And he's like, oh my. That's so gruesome. Oh my goodness. But you know what, Scarlett? You can trust me with this. I am a local historian scholar. I'm going to find out what I can. You can trust me with this. She says, okay. And they end the phone call. So, finding things out. I guess that's what Mr. Frost commits to doing. And I think the next day or so, he calls Scarlett and he says, Scarlett, I found some things out. Wow, this is big. Tell your friend that he needs to meet me. We need to talk about this. This is, oh my goodness. And Scarlett says, okay, I'm going to come over and we're going to talk to him. So, continuing, sorry here. Scarlett says she'll talk to Bod. Next scene, Bod is with the Sleer and he's asking for advice. And the Sleer, this is kind of weird because Bod says, look, you're the oldest thing here. Silas isn't here. I need some advice. Should I leave the graveyard and find out about my family? And the Sleer says, do you want to be my master? If you're my master, I'll protect you. I'll keep you. I'll hold you forever. And I won't let anything harm you forever until the end of time. And Bod says, I'm not your master. No, I don't want to be your master. What would you do if you were me? And the Sleer is like, fine. Find your name. And then the Sleer disappears. So Bod says, okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to do this. I'm going to meet this guy, Mr. Frost, and find out about my family. So then they go to Bod's house, which is number 33. And they go in, and Mr. Frost is there, and he's like, is this your friend? And Scarlett introduces him. They go and have tea, and they're drinking tea. And Mr. Frost looks pretty excited. Like he has a secret, and he wants to share, but he doesn't want to share. And then finally, they're like, Scarlett's like, man, what is it? What's going on? And so Mr. Frost says, okay, I'm going to tell you a secret. There was a letter, I found it in the top floor, but I want Bod to read it first. And then if he says it's okay, Scarlett, you can read the letter too, and you can come up. And she's like, oh, okay, that sounds reasonable. He says, okay, Bod, come with me. And they go up the apartment or the house or the stairs, up to the top floor. And Bod is there, and Mr. Frost is there, and he's bending down, and he's grabbing something and moving something. And then suddenly the Mr. Frost melts away, and he becomes the man Jack Frost, J. Frost. And he says, I finally found you. You escaped me, but you're not going to escape me this time, boy. I've got you. And Scarlett says, Mr. Frost, someone's knocking at the door. Mr. Frost looks away, and whoosh, Bod disappears. And Jack Frost is looking around, and he says, I can smell you. I know you're here. Where are you? He walks deeper into the room, and at that moment, the door closes, and the door is locked. And he's locked in the attic, and he's like, well, I'm gonna get you, Bod. We have unfinished business. Bod runs down the stairs. He grabs Scarlett and says, we gotta get out of here. This guy's trying to kill me. Let's run. They open the door. Bod just slips out, and Scarlett's there, and there's 4 men. And they're like, oh, excuse me, young lady. We're here to meet our friend, Mr. Frost. Is he in? And she's like, are you friends of Mr. Frost? And they say, yes, every man jack of us is a friend with Mr. Frost. She says, he went out to get a newspaper. He'll be right back. I've got to go catch the bus. I'm so sorry, but he should be back any moment. Bye. And Bod is like, get out of here. Come on, get out of here. And so she starts to go. Bod starts to go. It's like, those guys are dangerous. We've got to get out of here. She's like, what's going on? It's like, that's the guy. That's the guy that killed my parents. We've got to get out of here. Go to the graveyard. I'm going to go back and listen to him. Bod goes back, and he hears about the man Jacks talking about what's happening at the Dragon's Den in Melbourne and in Vancouver. That other man Jacks have been killed or destroyed, and maybe they're the last 4. Or with the Jack Frost, maybe the last 5. And they feel like, man, I don't like this. I think we should catch that girl. Something's not right. And so Mr. Dandy, the leader, says, okay, 2 of you guys go get the girl. And the other 3 guys, 2 guys and him, we're going to go, other 2, him and another guy, we're going to go find Mr. Frost. So the other 2 guys go to find Scarlett, and then a big guy starts hitting the door. There's some magic on the door, and Mr. Dandy clears the magic, and then the guy breaks in. They meet Mr. Frost, and he's saying, the boy was here. We got to go get the boy. Mr. Dandy says, you lost him once? That's just bad. You lost him twice? That's terrible. But let's go. And so they head off to the graveyard to find Bod. Now, in the graveyard, a lot's going on. Okay, I got to go through this fast. Bod grabs Scarlett and uses his grave walking to get her through the graveyard. The 2 Jacks come up, and they are trying to get Bod and Scarlett, and then they finally say their name. We are the Jack of all trades. And they want to try and get Scarlett, but Bod and her run away, and then one guy jumps over, and another guy tries to find his way in. So this first guy has a silk cord that he strangles people with. He's Mr. Ketch. Bod tells Scarlett to go hide with the Sleer, and then he asks all the ghost people to help him watch where the Jacks are going. So Mr. Ketch is hiding in some place, and Bod finds him. Bod leads him to a pit where he found a doctor. And so this guy is kind of sneaking up on Bod, and Bod is pretending that he doesn't know. And so Mr. Ketch jumps for Bod to get him, but he falls through the hole, 20 feet down, crushes his ankle and the grave that's there. And so this guy's down. And Bod's like, okay, one down. Now I got to go get the other guys. So Bod runs over to try to find Mr. Dandy, Mr. Tar, and Mr. Nimble. So they're called the Jack of all trades, or the Knaves. A knave is like a thief or a killer or a criminal, or a bad guy. Bod is waiting by the ghoul gate. And so they come up to find Bod, and he's making himself visible. He can feel the graveyard trying to hide him, but he's making himself visible. And so they come over to Bod, and Bod's on the ghoul gate. And they're like, we found you, boy. We're going to kill you. And Bod says, okay, you're going to kill me. I get it. But you got to tell me why. Like, just tell me, why do you want to kill me? Why did you kill my family? And Mr. Dandy says, we're part of an old order. It's like 5,000 years old. We use death magic. And we use death magic to do cool things. We don't know what. But 3,000 years ago or so, one of us prophesied, told the future that there would be a boy. He would kill all of us if he came to become an adult. So we knew who you were 1,000 years ago, but we just been waiting for you to kill you. And we sent Mr. Frost, who was the best of us, the cleverest, the most dangerous, to kill you, and he failed. But now we're here to finish the job. And Bod says, well, come get me. So they run over to get Bod. He goes, and the ghoul gate opens. One guy falls in. One guy jumps to try to get Bod, but he gets frozen and gets sucked into the hole. And then there's Mr. Dandy with a gun. And Mr. Dandy's like, man, I'm going to kill you with this gun. And Bod says, man, I'm not going to kill you. I don't want you to die here. But going down there, be careful. It's a desert. You can find water. You can find food. Stay away from the ghouls and stay away from the night gaunts. And Mr. Dan's like, why are you telling me all this? He's like, well, I'm not telling you this for you. I'm telling it for them. And he points to all the ghosts behind Mr. Dandy. Mr. Dandy turns just for a moment, and Bod fades. And Mr. Dandy can't see him. Where are you? Where are you, boy? And then the earth starts to shake. He falls into the hole, and he grabs onto the grave. And Bod reappears, and he says, I'm going to close the ghoul gate. You better let go, or you might become part of the ghoul gate, or it might crush you. I don't know. But you'll definitely be gone if you don't let go. And so the man Jack lets go, Mr. Dandy lets go, and the gate closes. 3 down. Wow, with one go. That's pretty incredible. Now there's one left, Mr. Frost, the man Jack, who is in the Sleer cave. He's captured Scarlett, has a knife to her throat, and Bod goes and tries to rescue her. When he gets down there, Bod tries to use different tricks to scare the man Jack, but he's like, stop trying to scare me or I'm going to kill this girl. He stops, says, show yourself, use your voice or I'm going to kill the girl. So Bod does. And then finally, Bod tries to say, hey, look, give up. Let her go. The order's gone. You're the last one. They didn't tell you. You're the last one. But the man Jack doesn't care. And he says, I'm going to start the new order by myself. I'm going to be here. And then the Sleer starts to come in. And the man Jack's like, stop doing whatever you're doing. And Bod's like, whoa, that's not me. That's the Sleer. It lives here. And Scarlett says, yeah, it's true. And the Sleer starts talking about a master and where's my master and about power. And the man Jack says, oh my goodness, this is a place of power that my order, my group, the Jack of all trades, have been looking for thousands of years. I'm going to take this power. And he makes Scarlett lay down. And then he tells Bod, go to the altar. And I'm going to kill you on this altar. And if you don't let me kill you, then I'm going to hurt Scarlett. So Bod kind of goes to the altar. He's putting his head down. And as this is going on, the Sleer's getting kind of excited and energetic. And Bod realizes, oh my goodness, I understand what the Sleer's talking about. I have a name already. My name is Nobody Owens. This is who I am. I don't need anything else. And then he says, Sleer, you wanted a master, right? And the Sleer is like, master, where's my master? And he's like, your master's right here. This guy, Mr. Frost, is your master. And Mr. Frost says, yes, I'm your master, Sleer. Obey me. And then the Sleer gets really excited and it picks up the man Jack. And he's like, you're my master. Master, master. And the man Jack is like, yes, I'm your master, but obey me. Let me down. And then the Sleer starts to coil around and grab the man Jack and squeeze him and starts to pull him into the wall. And the man Jack starts to freak out and he starts to use his knives to try to kill the Sleer, but he can't. And the Sleer pulls him into the wall, and he's crying and screaming and asking Bod to save him. And Scarlett watches this. She can't see the Sleer, but she can see the man Jack getting sucked into this wall, which is pretty crazy. At the end of the book, you can see a picture of the Sleer. It's like a giant snake, and it has one neck and like 3 faces kind of sticking out of it. It's kind of a creepy kind of thing. Mr. Frost is gone. All of the Jacks are gone, well, except for that guy in the hole. So Bod and Scarlett come out, and Scarlett's like, what happened? Did you know that was going to happen? And Bod was like, yeah, I thought that was going to happen. She's like, what? You're a monster. How could you let that happen? And she's like, wait, you sent me down there as bait. You sent me down there to get caught. And Bod's like, no, it wasn't like that. And she's really angry. She's really angry at Bod. She's like, you're a monster. And she's about ready to run away. And then Silas says, hey, I think we need to have a walk and talk about things. She's like, yeah, we do. She's like, you want to forget this, don't you? She's like, yes, I want to forget. And Bod says, no, Silas, don't make her forget. She's my friend. I like her. Don't make her forget me. She's like, I want to forget. And Silas says, I know. Come on, let me take you home. Silas takes her home. He talks with Scarlett and her mom. He makes them happy and friendly. And they decide to go back to Scotland. And everything's going to be wonderful. And they forget all the weird stuff that happened. And Silas goes back to Bod. And he says, Bod, I'm sorry. She wanted to forget. And Bod says, why did she hate me? Why was she afraid of me? He says, humans are just afraid of things they don't understand. And it's easier for them to forget things than to believe the impossible. And then they go and have pizza. And Bod says, you were going out. You were killing all these Jacks, weren't you? And Silas says, yes, we were. Me, Miss Lepesco, and some others. We're the honor guard. And then Bod and Silas go back to the graveyard. And that's how chapter 8 ends. Or chapter 7. That's a lot. And oh my goodness, there is so much vocabulary in this chapter. Would freak out. Would go crazy. Iridescent, like a rainbow. Awful cheeky is that's a British slang, meaning like bold, maybe awfully bold. Imposition is putting someone in a place that's uncomfortable. Ascertain means to learn or know. Mr. Frost uses a lot of weird high vocabulary words. Amiable is friendly. Ushered is to lead. Lorry is a British word again, as for a truck. Tartly is like sourly. Sharply, way to talk. There's more. Cordially is friendly, politely. Implore, it's like to push your way on someone. Propitious is favorable. I had to look that one up. Doggerel is like nonsense. Vulgar is saying things that are dirty, like butt, pee, poop, or bad words. These are vulgar. Pestilence is like poison, illness, something causing death. Disinterred is when you put a grave in the ground, you cover it with dirt. Disinterred is to pick off the dirt and bring the grave back up and opening the coffin. Approbation means permission. Derision is contempt. And again, I had to look these up, so I had little notes here for me. There's a few more. Crikey. Oh, it's like, oh my goodness. Conspiratorially is conspiracy is like a secret, so sharing a secret together, secretly kind of. Implacably is cruelly. Implacably, cruelly. Laboriously, hardworking. Insinuating is implying or hinting at something. Affable is friendly. Resolutely means you're not changing your mind. You're choosing. It comes from resolve. Resolve is keeping your choice, no matter how hard it is. Or even it could be, even if it was a bad choice. Incongruous is absurd or not correct. Oblige is to let someone else choose. Like implore is pushing. Oblige is allowing someone. Like, yeah, that's fine, I'll do it. Zenth is the top. So the guy jumped, and at the highest point, at the Zenth, he fell down into the ghoul gate. And the last one, antagonize. Antagonize means to tease or try to cause a problem or a fight. That leaves us with our discussion question. If you were Scarlett, would you want to remember everything that happened? And of course, please make your own discussion question. That is all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.